each region, it's not just a color like how we've done in the past in our other games. It is a full material. So if I go into here, I can pick the main region here, and I can apply a physical material to that. So I can put metal, pick the fabric, pattern fabric. And so one of the things again here is when you're picking these materials, it's not just the color; it is the physical material, so that affects the reflectance, the smoothness, and the color of the material.
And awesome. I love the patterns because they can have 2 colors.
I realized that I forgot to do some disclaimers. Oh. So shame on Ben. But a couple of disclaimers real quick. We're going to show you a lot of stuff that's in here. Not all of it is available at the very beginning. Some things you unlock through the game in various ways. We also today don't want to talk about how many things there are, how you unlock them. Are there things that you pay for? Are there things that you can earn in game? That's all a topic for a different time. We just want to focus on the really cool ways you can customize your appearance. So just wanted to make sure that was clear that none of what you see in here is either the total amount or a subset of the amount. We're just not really going into that. We just want to focus on showing you guys a bunch of cool stuff today.
Yep, so what I'm going through here, is I'm just kind of resetting the default look of the Ranger, and I am putting in just a blank slate, just a white canvas to start with. So I'm picking some random materials here. The fabric. So once you've kind of picked the materials that you like, you can go ahead and start picking the colors. We have a whole bunch of custom colors here.
Yes, so you can actually make your own color palettes. As you see, Francis has been trying this feature out quite heavily. I expect we'll all spend a lot of time doing this. And you can use sort of any color you want. The full color wheel is available here. There's tons of really cool options, and as you create different colors, they're all saved into this palette so you can use them for later.
Yep, so I'm just kind of presetting some colors that I want to use here for customizing my Ranger.
So while you guys are doing this, we also have AJ and Jesse helping us out on our community team, reading through the chat for questions. Please just make sure you guys ask questions as we go. I think the easiest way is if you all ask questions about the section we're in at the time, then we can answer them as we go instead of trying to wait till the end and do Q&A. So make sure you ask questions about what you're seeing right now. If you have questions on paint or materials, and then we can direct them to Francis and Leah. All right, so what are you trying to aim for here, Francis? Like, do you have a vision in mind of what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, I'm kind of going for a bounty hunter look.
Cool. I thought you were going to make me the Australian rugby union jersey again.
I can do that.
That's fine.
Maybe we can do that a little later. But we can certainly do that.
That's fine. I know when there's a no out there, Francis. Yes. That's fine.
So one of the nice things is, once you've picked your colors here, you can go ahead and just pick any material, and the colors will store and they'll save, so you don't lose your settings. You can go back and iterate things on the fly.
Yeah, when you guys were trying to work out the regions, because I think it's interesting, we have the 6 different regions. How did you work out how to split up those regions?
So here, just going through the regions from top to bottom, the regions are named in the same way that the artist had originally built the suit. So the Ranger suits have 3 hard surfaces and 3 soft surfaces. Again, the player can pick whichever region they want, but at least it gives them some guidance as to where these materials would look best. So I could go ahead in here and I could make this a metal, although it might look a little weird that if it's, for example, on the Storm Cape, it would be a little weird to have a metallic cape, but you could go ahead and do that if you want.
I personally feel it looks cool, but as an artist it might be weird.
A metal cape, but it still flows, am I right?
It does. It's very shiny. There's nothing wrong with being super shiny.
We have a couple of questions coming through chat that I'll ask you guys. So can you make custom logos in game?
No, you cannot currently make custom logos, but we do have the options to do vinyls. Do we want to go into that now? I mean, or do you want?
So let's hold vinyls.
Yeah.
Yeah, vinyls are effectively what you're asking for. They're not custom. We have a whole lot to show you, and Francis will show that off later. So yeah, the answer is no for now. Will there be more and more things added once the game is live? So the answer to that is yes, absolutely. We're still trying to work out the plan for all of that, but our goal is to keep adding more and more stuff forever. As long as we can think of cool things to add, we'll add more stuff to the game. Final question for one of you guys at the moment that we have. Will the Legion of Dawn armor have all legs, arms, chest, and head as well?
Yep, so this is probably a good time to go dive into the Legion of Dawn. Okay, so in here, this is as Leia was mentioning earlier, we have the parts, so we can go ahead and start equipping pieces of gear. So for example, I put on the Legion of Dawn arms. Go through and pick the helmet, and the player can pick which ones they want to have.
Yes, I think an interesting thing you were explaining in a different meeting, Francis, was how these parts work. Like it's less about like equipping arms as much as a bunch of attachments that reflect the character model. Do you want to explain that just a little bit?
Right, so each of the exosuits, like the base suit underneath, the Ranger, the Colossus, the Storm, and the Interceptor, all have an iconic look, which is their lowest level form. And then all the part attachments that get added on top, they're topical, although you can switch out your helmet.
Cool. So you're putting the Legion of Dawn armor pack on, which is available to people that pre-order for the Ranger. And if you buy the Legion of Dawn edition, you can get the Legion of Dawn armor packs for all 4 javelins available at launch. So one question, so many people have seen the Legion of Dawn art on the website, probably not realizing that, hey, like that's the armor pack, but you can also customize it. Will people be able to make it look exactly like the image on the website?
Yes, so what we will do is we will release a set of materials in here similar to this, and we will have them named Legion of Dawn, so that way it'll give the players some guidance as to how to replicate that look. So they can attach just all the Legion of Dawn materials to the regions, and then just pick the colors that they want to go with. It's pretty simple though.
Awesome.
It's silver and gold. You can't go wrong.
It looks amazing though. People are excited. A question for you, Leah. Can we save these personalization appearances to loadouts?
Yes, absolutely. So we do have a section where you can store loadouts for all your different javelins and edit them, change them as you like, and it will also store all of your gear and customization as well. So there'll be the full package for you to build on.
Awesome. I have a bunch more questions coming in. If you guys have things to say, just stop me and keep talking. But what are some of the ways you can unlock new colors or materials? So again, it's a good question. It's one of the things we don't want to get into today. So we're still working out for all of Vanity and all of our personalization options, how they're going to be unlocked in the game. And so we're not really ready to share that yet, but we can share that at a later date. It's a really good question. Just don't want to talk about any of it right now. Can you show how to use Legion Dawn appearances? Yes, that's what we're doing now. I think I just missed that question earlier. Apologies. Can you change the color of any of the unique appearances? Yes is the answer. So that's kind of what Francis is doing now with the Legion of Dawn armor packs. He's done a couple of different colors, which is really cool.
And I think certain materials, Francis, they have either just the paint color that you can change, and then all of our metallics have quite a few different metallic ranges.
So metal, with the way our physically based rendering works, is metal has an actual scientific value behind it. So if we start breaking that value, it tends to look not great in real light. or at least in the game lighting scenario. So when you the regions are contextual. So if you do pick a metal, for example, let's say I want to go with the welded ones. I like ones. So if you were to pick these metals, you would get a different color palette range. So these are all physical, real-world metals that exist in the real world. So you have gold, brass, copper, nickel, tin, silver, tungsten. There's no alien materials. These are all based off real-world metals.
So a question while you're in this screen, I think maybe, is can you zoom and rotate, like if you want to see more of the character?
Yep. So you have controls to go ahead and at each level be able to interact with the exosuit.
Awesome. A question was, will there be a randomized feature for colors?
That's a great idea. I will take that one back.
Yeah, currently you
So
not right now.
But the nice thing is on this we have preset colors, so the artists have already pre-selected a wide range of colors, so people don't have to every single time go through the color wheel and have to pick it for every single material. And just so people are aware, we've also added white and black values, because I know that a lot of people always ask for black.
That kind of ties into a question I had. So I remember early on we were trying to work out how the system would work to have a lot of depth, but also be simple for people like me who aren't the best with fashion. And we got to an interesting place where I think it's pretty straightforward for someone who doesn't want to spend too much time or isn't necessarily that good at this kind of stuff in making something look good. Do you guys want to describe a little bit, like if you're a kind of low-key person who just wants to do something quickly, how do we do that?
So usually when you're in your loadouts, through here. So you will always, whenever you create a new loadout, you will get your default ranger, and I added it in. Anyway, so why don't we just go through this? So as you create loadouts, you can name them whenever you want. I don't know, Jesse, if you'd be able to type in,
give us a name.
Give us a name.
Yeah, and so this is a really, really great way that if you make a couple of things that you really like, you can swap between them easily. But you can also just do stuff like, hey, go to all 6 regions and make them all black, and that will just look pretty cool by itself. So you don't have to go through everything and spend lots of time. Although if you want to, you can really make something that kind of reflects your personal style and flair.
Yeah, I mean, if I've got a whole bunch of friends playing here at work and I just want to get out, I'll just grab the default and change up a few colors. Typically all metal, very fast while they're waiting for me so that I can play my favorite Bender from Futurama look. It's always good. So no, and it's super quick. You're in and out while everyone's readying up. And you're also very shiny.
Speaking of shiny, you want to go into wear a little bit, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have wear options as well. So again, since everything is built in a layered fashion, we kind of built it in a way so that the players can choose how they want their exosuit to look. Do they want them to look all beat up? Do we want them to look dirty? Do we want them to look all chipped and painted, or have chipped paint? So the players can go ahead and do that, or just cover it in grime. It's a little harder to see here, so that let me just switch up the appearances. Since it is all material based, if you have cloth and you put stains on it, it'll stain a bit more like cloth, versus if you had an all metal suit, the wear would make the metal duller. It would make it cover the way the surface response of the wear will react differently.
And I should also mention that you can, as we're looking at this, you can zoom in and out, toggle on and off the little interaction points if you just want to spend time admiring your suit as well. There's a few of the options we've added in there, as well as you can see, not in this screen, but in other ones, there's lots of options, so we've added filters as well if you want to quickly get into what you need.
Awesome. A question came through that I might we'll see. The question is, does this only affect your appearance as opposed to stats with things like the Legion of Dawn armor packs?
Elliot, you want to that one?
Or Ben, you want to grab that?
Yeah, I can answer. So basically, there's two big parts of the game. One is power and one is vanity. And so what we're talking about now is purely vanity, personalization, appearance, all kind of synonyms, I guess. So everything we're doing now only affects how you look. Separately to that, we have power, which is gears, guns, and a few other equipable parts that we haven't really delved into yet. And that's where you get your power and your stats. So we've really tried to separate that so that, you know, there's one part of the game that's all about becoming powerful, and then there's a different part of the game that's about, you know, changing your appearance to be the way you look. And again, how you unlock all of those things, I don't want to go into today, but for what we're looking at right now, it's purely for your appearance. Another question, can you apply a paint scheme to multiple javelins?
No, we don't have that ability right now, but I'm sure as we go into live service, we can take some of that feedback and make this even better for you. But great idea.
Cool.
Mental
It
notes.
is a great idea.
Yeah.
I knew that answer was no, so I feel guilty asking.
Yeah.
One.
One of those ones I'm recording silently. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a bunch of good suggestions in here of things we don't have. And I think, you know, this is a really, really robust system, but obviously, like any system in any game, there's a bunch of things we'd love to do going forward to improve it. And so suggestions like that are really helpful for us. Sometimes they're things we thought about ourselves, but sometimes they're not. And so having those suggestions is great. So thank you all for asking those questions. I don't know if we know the answer to this, I don't, but how many personalizations can you save per javelin? So I guess that means how many loadouts can you have?
I know right now we're looking at that. I believe it's currently set to 5, but expect that number to change as we go towards shipping.
Cool. All right, so let's take a little breath from questions for a second. Where are we at? I've been reading and not looking. What do you want to tell us? Where are we at, Francis? What do you want to do next?
We can probably look at the vinyls now. It's probably a good time if I could. There is a slight bug right now where when I select the loadout. I hope you're keeping track of this one, Leia.
Yeah, sometimes misbehaves.
Yeah. So yeah, we can go right into the vinyls
fine.
here.
It's early. There's plenty of time.
So the vinyls again is to answer that question for the custom logos. So here we have the vinyl system. So while we can customize your javelin, and you can apply your materials, you can pick your colors. That's all nice, and you can come up with some really cool designs. But sometimes you just want a little bit more punch, maybe a little reward for doing things in the game. Just something that, in addition, you personalize your exo, give you a little bit of flair. That's what these vinyls
There's a lot of N7 poggers going on in chat, so we might have to show that at some point.
I'm just gonna go around that. No. Yeah.
And a question, Francis. These vinyls, are they javelin specific?
No. So the vinyls, once you have the vinyl, it'll apply on any javelin you have. And it should, within reason, look as good as it does on one javelin as it does on another. Can't always account for every single nook and cranny on the exosuit. That this little stripe might look in the exact same spot, but it is as close as the artist can possibly get to making it look good.
Yeah, like the spirit of the decal works across all the suits, right? Yeah. Like I think they look really cool. I think you have a keener eye for it than many of us have.
Yeah.
So this is the one that we made for Ben specifically for A3 because he requested it.
I don't know there are any
we
other
can put in
Australian
requests?
rugby fans. It's inspired by the jersey. It's obviously not the jersey. It just uses the same colors, which is cool. I think this is what I use when I play every day. I know a question that's come up internally. I didn't catch it in chat. I think it might have been there. Was so you can change all the paint options for all the other stuff we've seen, but what about the vinyls? can you change them at all, or how does that work?
No, so we actually did. We debated this topic for a long time, and we tried to put full control for the player to customize each decal or each vinyl. The problem with that is the amount of performance expense that it has on the system, where you're tracking more parameters, more data, which did affect performance negatively. And on top of that, there was an added complexity, so you would have to double up every single one of these menus, so that the player would have to not only customize their personalize their exo, they would also have to go personalize their vinyl, which seemed like an extra bit of work for very little payoff, versus the artist just making, releasing these cool looking one-off items, which also it really does help to signify things like for challenges, to have these iconic looking vinyls, so when you see another player who's done something, you can see the vinyl that is associated with it.
Yeah, that's the part I was going to say. I think, there's all the technical challenges and the user experience problems with it. But I think even as a player experience, to that exact point, it's great when you can see something and identify it. Again, we're not really talking about how you get things, but an example might be you complete a really difficult challenge and get a cool vinyl. And then you can use that to show off to your friends that you got it. And if they can look at that and immediately relate that that's where it came from, and that's what it is, I think that's a really cool way to show off, even if it's a little humble brag. So the chat is demanding, and I'm sorry, they're demanding N7.
Yes.
So when the people have spoken, Francis.
Let me just...
But did you, I can't remember, so last week, was it last week or the week before? It was N7 day, who knows what date it is anymore. And so we kind of were randomly like, hey, we should make an N7 look and share it on social media for N7 day. That's really cool. And so did you make this then, or did you have it made already?
I made it. It was done the night before the 7th.
I thought so. Can you, I don't know if we need to replicate the exact look. Well, you tell us, how do we make
I will get it as close as I can
cool?
right now.
As Francis is doing this, AJ and Jesse, what are we like on time? I mean, we're happy to keep going a bit. You just give us like a 5-minute countdown when you need us to start wrapping up.
So far, so good, guys.
Okay, great.
We'll let you know.
So we're going to do N7. Is there anything big in chat you guys would like to see? Is there something that we haven't shown that you've seen in the menus that you think is cool, or something you think we might have missed that you guys want to see? This is an interesting question. I think the answer is no, and it might go into our cool ideas for the future. Is there a way to match colors to the decals once you apply them?
No, but that's a really good idea.
Yeah. I don't know if we can add a color picker dynamically on top of the screen, but that would help a lot.
Do you want to, I'm not an artist, let's be super clear, but I don't know if you want the same colors, do you?
Well, that's kind of, I think probably the person who asked that they noticed I was trying to match the color to the decal. Or to the vinyl, so that is a good question, so maybe we'll look into that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you had it equipped in the paint section, we could just have a section, like an extra section with related colors, so I am signing us up. I'm just kidding.
I might make a high-risk suggestion here.
Okay.
Once you're done with this. So, chat is asking if we could see a different javelin. So, I think... So, first of all, can we show a different one? Question mark, right now?
Yes.
We were having some problems earlier. Okay.
Sure.
So, we still have problems. So, chat, you get to demand, you have to type Storm or Interceptor, and then we will pick whichever one has the most.
Oh, good.
And also, please give some PogChamp for the N7 look, because Francis did it without rehearsal.
Yes, and I
so good.
I got it wrong.
You got it wrong? I can't tell.
That's close. Feels super close. For like a no pressure in front of thousands of people on the spot with no practice. It feels like a pretty good deal. All right, so the votes are in. I've used my eyes skimming chat for 5 seconds to decide which one was most popular, and I think the Storm was the winner. So once we're done with this, we might swap over to the Storm, Francis.
Okay, we can do that.
Look at some of the animation stuff, so things like emotes, but we're also going to call 5 final questions. So the community guys will skim chat for the final 5 questions, and as we do this, we'll answer them as we go, and then we'll start wrapping up. So do you want to just talk through, Leah, first? Like, what are the sections in this screen represent?
Sure. So here you're able to set your victory pose, which is at the end of all of our missions. You get this really cool, fun, celebratory wrap-up with your friends, so you can set anything you want there. Your arrival animation is anytime you enter the game at the start of missions, or you're helping other people and you make a grand entrance, so you can set your arrival animation. And then we have emotes.
Do we have any of them that we can show, or do we not want to show that
they're
today?
Not set up in there quite yet, but we do have lots of emotes.
Something to tease for later.
Yeah. How cool you look when you enter the game is one for next time. But yeah, there's lots of really fun emotes here. Right now we've got 3 of them that you can use pick in game, and there's just all sorts of great ones.
This is my favorite one.
Finger guns?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're kind of playing emote roulette right now because we do not have custom icons in quite yet, so yeah, but they're all working pretty cool, look great. Shout out to the team for sure.
Yeah, this stuff looks great.
So if you see these on the Colossus,
now my favorite one of all time.
yeah.
I've seen Kung Fu Form 1 before. I'm almost crying at laughter.
Yes.
It's so good.
I've heard the Colossus doing a backflip is quite fun as well.
All right, so I don't know, AJ and Jesse, if we have any of those questions coming through, we should probably ask them when you guys have a second.
Yeah, for sure. One thing, Ben, that I wanted to touch on, if you don't mind, and Francis, do you mind pulling back up the Legion of Dawn?
Yes.
Can we show that a little bit? So a lot of people have been asking about Legion of Dawn. We've got a link, a nifty link, on how you get all that stuff. Ben, do you have that stuff in front of you, or do you want me to go over it?
Yeah, we can talk about it real quick. So, again, the Legion of Dawn armor pack is the thing you equip with your head, chest, legs, etc. As Leah described, it's kind of the things that change your silhouette. And so if you pre-order the game, you get access to the Legion of Dawn armor pack for the Ranger, which is what we're looking at now. Super cool. And then what I think is one of the most generous offerings in video game history, if you purchase the Legion of Dawn edition, you get the Legion of Dawn armor pack for all 4 of the javelins. So that's 4 armor packs, which is I think awesome. We're just really excited for people who, want to be early adopters to the game, to be really generous with a really cool look that you can celebrate. Like, hey, I've been here from the beginning. And so we wanted to make sure we reward that. The details are on the website. I don't know if you have the specific link, AJ.
Yeah, I think you touched on everything perfectly. We're still pulling some more questions from the chat as Francis toys around with this javelin here, and he's kind of recreating what you see in the mock-up there. It's really cool. One question we're getting, Ben, and this might be for you, some people asking about, and I know we're not talking about weapons or gear yet, but they want to know about, how that works. Are those part of what you colorize and stuff like that?
Sure, so do Leah and Francis...
I could answer that one in terms of weapons specifically. So weapons do not receive colorization in the same way as the exosuit. Weapons they will have unique looks and appearances. There will probably be another stream going over that. So you can have really cool looking guns.
Yeah, and kind of same with gear. Like there are some variations to how the gear looks, but that's based on the functionality of the gear. And so it's not tied to things that you can specifically customize. but you can tie them together in Loadout. So you can pick, hey, I want these 3 gear pieces, these 2 weapons with this appearance, and I save the whole thing as one loadout. So, you know, you might want to make the red dragon ranger appearance that's all red, and then you equip fire gear, and then you might want to make the frosty warrior. I wish I was more creative. And you know, you make yourself blue, and then you equip the frost grenade and save that as a loadout. And you then can swap between both the customization you have of gear and weapons and the appearance can be tied together. So that's pretty cool. Next question, AJ.
Sure. We've got this one that I've seen a few times. I don't know if you want to touch on this. They saw the nifty N7, and of course we're getting questions about a certain other Bioware IP called Dragon Age.
So
yeah. Well, go ahead, Francis.
No, I was going to say we do have Plaidweave in the game. So.
I think, you know, the answer to all Bioware IPs that we own is, of course, we'll do shout-outs and stuff like that to those IPs. I don't think we want to get into the specifics of all of it. We obviously made N7 because N7 Day was just a couple weeks ago. I'm sure we'll give nods to our IPs, you know, as we go forward. So I'm sure you can expect to see things where it makes sense and where it's, you know, appropriate. All right, let's do, 2 more questions, and then we'll call it.
Yeah, let's do 1 or 2 more, and be sure to drop them in there. We're kind of going through this, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I do want to give a quick shout out to Leah and Francis, and I'm sure you were going to do this, Ben, but thank you guys for joining us today on the Anthem live stream.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do a little bit of wrap-up stuff as we get those final questions together. So, first of all, for those of you that are in Twitch, thank you so much for coming along. Make sure to follow the channel so you get notified of when we're doing streams in the future. It's twitch.tv/Anthem Game. I'm sure you know that because you're there right now. Both Mike, Gamble, and I will be kind of rotating hosting the streams probably. We'll kind of rotate week on week so we can bring guests in, like I said at the start. We'll try to share information about upcoming streams through Twitter, through ourselves, also through AJ and Jesse and our main channels. But feel free to follow us. I'm at Ben Ervo on Twitter, and Mike is at Gamble Mike on Twitter. As for the next stream, our goal is to do it in a couple of weeks. We're trying to get consistent with this stuff. We haven't announced a topic yet, although if you're savvy and on Twitter, you saw Mike posing questions out last night about what you guys would like to see next stream. So we'll have some announcements for that coming soon. Hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll give you some more clarity on what we'll do.
You ready to go?
We're just grabbing some supplies. Just about ready.
What are you going to use today?
I decided to go with the Colossus.
I'm going to use my Ranger. Try out some new upgrades.
Every player will own an array of exosuits we call javelins. These suits give players superhuman capabilities and are heavily customizable so they look and play how you want.
Bam! Looking good. Nice, you've got a mortar equipped.
Yeah, I got it on the weekend. You lead the way, I'll follow.
This is a vast open world you explore with your friends. Each Javelin exosuit has its own unique playstyle. The Ranger is balanced and all-purpose, while the Colossus is a tanking powerhouse.
Alright, let's see what's up here.
The world of Anthem is hostile, and threats can come from any direction. It's a dynamic world where the unexpected is around every corner.
I'm not sure we want to use all our supplies on this guy.
Yeah, he seems like a problem for another day.
We're getting some fire from up ahead.
I'll go low. You flank.
Hang in there. Almost there. Have you been in there yet?
I haven't. We should do that later with Kim.
Yeah, you could use the XP. Hello, treasure. I think we got some action up ahead.
Anyone, we're under attack. Anyone in the area, we're under attack.
I think that's part of Prax's mission.
You can equip your Javelin exosuit with gear that brings devastating power to combat.
Oh, there are a lot of scars down there. Oh, the scars have a heavy.
Time to use that mortar. Yeah, give me some covering fire.
Okay.
There's a bunch more coming in.
Okay, I'll get this round.
Thanks.
Oh, come on. Be something good. Oh, yes! Jar's Wrath.
Oh, nice.
Large-scale world events like Shaper Storms are dynamic and pull you off the beaten path with the promise of new stories to discover.
Oh, Shaper Storm incoming. Okay, actually, let's get some more people. Hold on a sec.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, what's happening?
Right behind you. Whoa. This storm is getting crazy. So what are we supposed to do? Fly into him?
All right, let's do this.
See you on the other side.
All right, we are good to go.
Okay.
So
we've talked about grenade,
Right.
refresh. Right,
Right.
So let me show
you
you.
want to explain
I
how
want
it
to
works. Yeah.
see
Great
it.
idea.
Right,
Great idea.
So I think it's about 12 seconds. So you
can see
see
in
the
the-
little
yep.
little bar raise. Now watch what happens when I hover.
Yeah, it's half.
Much faster. Like it's half.
Ridiculous. And
Yeah.
you can see they're the buffs on the left. Is that right?
Yes. Yep. So yeah, let me do
I can't
that
remember
again.
which one was which, but
So Raptor's relief is the cooldown reduction,
Yep.
and Raptor's sense is
the
my weak point.
damage. Yeah.
So you can see, and you see the electric explosion there that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do.
So you've got to defeat an enemy with your missile launcher.
So I'm going to do that.
Oh, you didn't.
Didn't kill him. It's okay. I do a bunch of damage with that grenade, so it's cool, and it comes back fast.
Yeah, you better get on the ground. Okay. So let's see if we can get this here.
Okay.
So you defeated him.
Oh, see the
you got
yep.
Victor's boost, I guess, which is grenade does extra damage, and then you got the grenade kill. Right. If that was a multi-kill, if it was 3, you get your shield back, and if it was 2, we'd see our ultimate meter
go up,
dip up. And I think one of the bugs here is you have a bunch of plus thruster, and I think it's not quite working.
What's not working, nor is the ultimate regeneration that I have. Just base regeneration isn't working either.
Yeah, so you'd be able to hover longer and probably get your ultimate even faster than what we're seeing here.
Oh, I missed.
That's fine, because if you miss, you got to get those weak point hits through.
Yep.
Okay, so while you're doing this, I'll field some extra questions as you keep explaining stuff.
All right, so yeah, the grenades are really powerful, but slow, and we balance them that way. But this is a good way around that. Right. I ran into some
so here you go. Now we're perfectly set up. Boom into. Oh,
I didn't kill him. Yeah. Okay. So I chose hard difficulty.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. so that we didn't one-shot everything. Sometimes these things, but you have to choose the right targets.
Right. Yeah, but I think, just even showing off how when you weren't hovering versus hovering, like look how fast those cooldowns are coming up. Yeah. Like it's crazy when you're in hover mode. And then Darren's actually doing something may be subtle here, but he's purposely playing around the water. So as he's overheating, he's coming back and cooling himself faster by playing through the water.
Right.
So there's a lot of there's some environmental things you can do here to help.
All right,
okay, there we go. Oh, that might be it. Nice.
Okay. Oh,
so your ultimate's full. So if you also now, you could get your ultimate going.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, I'll answer some questions. Do bosses drop unique loot? Like if I did a stronghold and killed one of those giant gorilla-looking things, could I get, I don't know, a crazy quad-barreled shotgun? Man, I like the creativity in the question.
I have to make that.
So I think we've kind of addressed this, but generally the answer is by playing the game, there are loot tables, and the harder the content you play gives you higher chances of rarity amongst the loot tables. And those loot tables are kind of, if you're playing a ranger, you're more likely to get more ranger gear, or mostly ranger gear. Separately to that, we have a challenge system. So you can think of it as what some other games kind of use achievements as but there might be a challenge to be like, hey, go kill the giant gorilla thing 10 times, and on the 10th time you get a specific reward. And so we're trying to work out exactly how we'll kind of mix those challenges into the rest of the game. But the primary thing will be there are loot tables, and then between crafting and challenges, there'll be some outs to chase certain things. Okay, is there anything else you want to show? Because we're actually over time. Is there anything else you want to show here?
I mean, not really. I think we've complicated this enough. There's more things I could add to this build. There was a whole bunch of other stuff that I thought I should put in here, but
we wanted this to be the kickoff, right? So players could go, oh, wow, okay. Just with those things they've told us, which is only a small subset of all of the options available, man, what are all the different kind of options and thoughts we have of cool things that we could do? So what we might do then is flip. Well, actually, you can just keep playing around for a bit. I'll answer a few more questions, and then we'll start to wrap it up. So supportability got asked as a question.
Oh yeah,
we didn't show it, which actually, for what you're doing here, would be super useful.
Would have been super useful.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. It's free play, folks. So I don't know where the people are.
There we go. There wasn't a mess. Oh, you missed it. Those to the left. That's fine. There's some down there to the right. I shouldn't backseat drive. I think the lesson we learned right now is
wall?
Don't let Ben backseat drive.
I just need. So the equipment that I have here is the muster point, the rally point rather. So
don't you have bulwark on?
Do I? Okay, you're right. So this puts a shield around me, so that the projectiles can't get in.
Yep.
It doesn't. It blocks them, which is super handy.
Oh, wyverns.
Against wyverns.
Do it.
I was overheating. Remember? But I can pop it in the air. If I time it incorrectly, I can't.
Yeah, so the bulwark is... Oh, nice. You found the ring gate. the bulwark will prevent projectiles coming in. So if you didn't get set on fire
all
from
the time,
raptors and shot out of the sky,
it would have been much more dramatic.
But see, now you're hovering though to get it back faster, so we can show it off. Which is kind of cool.
So they have a long cooldown, but it's shortened when I'm hovering.
Okay, so we showed that. Is loot individual or shared? So loot is instanced to be individual loot. And again, there's no trading. It's really about you having to go and earn the loot yourself. And of course, any loot you get, you got 2 Ursics.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able
probably
to. I should
get out of
run
here.
away, I know.
And remember, you want to salvage loot you're not going to use to get crafting materials to craft things that you may really want to have.
Yep.
Do inscriptions stack? I assume this means if I had 2 plus 5% flight times, would they work together?
They do. Yep, for sure.
They sure do. A question was, will higher level gear have wildly impactful abilities? I think that was an older question before we started showing all this, so the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
As you can see.
Right.
Pretty impactful stuff. You can work in kind of your own rotations, if you will, or play styles based on putting these together. I think you should just
I know. I'm tempting fate.
So that's an interesting point, because you had mentioned this to me. We were playing around with this yesterday. You're like, this build is really about having to defeat a lot of enemies pretty quickly. That's where you get the most value. So then when you fight like an Ursix, like this isn't the best build to go and fight single target, high hit point, high damage.
I can't get those
that's the trade-off, right?
Yep.
Now you could have made a different build that was balanced for that,
and my impact build would have been great.
Focused. Yeah, your impact build would have been perfect for it. It's all about single target damage with weapons. So there's going to be a lot of trade-offs here. And then if you think you're just one player, ideally you have a squad of you and 3 of your best friends, and you're trying to work out the builds that support the whole group, all 4 of you together.
Right.
So you might make a mixture of some people are there to take out the trash, so to speak, the easier to kill creatures, and other people are there to deal with the kind of priority target things, either the apex creatures like the Ursix, or even like a Scar Heavy, things that are harder to defeat.
So another interesting thing that we see here, because it's not working unfortunately, is I really needed the hover time to work. Me stacking that stuff.
Yeah. Like just loosely for players, like do you think it would be about twice? Like how much more hover are we talking? Because it's not infinite.
No, it's not infinite.
Oh, that was an awesome combo.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's not infinite, and these guys have a lot of health.
Yeah.
But it needs to be extended to a point where I can reliably do a combo and not have to worry about falling out of the sky.
Right. Okay, that's cool. That's all part of the in-development nature of us grabbing a recent build that has some bugs. No big deal. Do enemies scale with your gear score? Or probably a better question is, how do enemies scale? Because we've talked about friends of any level can play together. So how would it work?
So the key to making that work is that enemies scale to your pilot level.
Right.
There are things that scale slightly differently, but the creatures.
Yeah. So the biggest boost you can get. Oh man, he's just wants it. The biggest boost you can get is increasing your rarity. Is that right? Like at
increasing rarity and
range,
item.
Increasing rarity
item
would
level
be the best way to get ahead.
Item level and rarity. Yep.
Okay, cool. And then we've talked about this before, but if Darren's level 20 and I'm level 10, we can play together because we'll do, without getting into it, relative damage to the creatures and they'll do relative damage to us, so we can play together. But when Darren has a build like this with all these synergies, he will be more powerful than I will, or he will be able to defeat things faster because he has all these extra synergies and he has a breadth of things available to him. But we can still play together and have a lot of fun. He would never take me to do the hardest end game stuff.
Yeah, I think you probably wouldn't.
He would come on my crit path missions, or we'd play, whatever piece of content together on some of the regular difficulties, and we'd be having a great time. Are there builds that can improve your melee?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So again, I was
of all the choices.
Somebody suggested I actually make a tanky ranger melee build, and I could have done that too.
Yeah,
right? Lots of melee components and things that apply to that. Oh.
So one question was, can you show the other gun? Which I think is not working. Is that right?
It doesn't work. Yes. I was so excited to play with it.
We got like 42 minutes in before being caught with a weapon that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we found out that was bugged. We have top people fixing said bug, but it's not part of this build right now. Yeah, okay, so we might do, I don't know, 2 more questions and then we will sign off. We'll get a summary posted of the stream, and if there are questions in Reddit or other parts of social media, like we're kind of around in general, we'll poke in and see if we can answer some for you. If we wanted to get, just a couple more questions. So I've seen this a couple times. Will there be swords or other things? So right now the way it works is each javelin has its own melee ability. So the ranger has the shock mace, it just has the shock mace, there are no other things. We like the idea of maybe somewhere down in the future, like we could do some more stuff, but at launch everyone kind of has their one thing.
Right.
And that will scale with pilot level and things like that. So the next question, I'll field this one as well. What about raids and endgame content? So that's a much longer answer. So a lot of the kind of core loop to the game as you get through the crit path and get towards the endgame content is around taking on more challenging content at those higher difficulties to get more rewards.
Right.
Then the question says, but hey, like I would like aspirational content. Like it's important to have aspirational content. And so we have some things coming that we're not quite ready to talk about. But as we get into the new year, we'll give some more detail on that. But certainly at launch, there's a lot of content and a lot of difficulty levels and a lot of ways to challenge yourself with you and your friends to try to get these rewards, find out what these amazing builds are, find the builds that are right for you, find the build that's right for you and your group, find the build that's right for you and your group across the 4 javelins, across multiple loadouts. You know, there's really a lot of stuff to chase there, and a lot of amazing content to play to do it. But we'll talk about some of that other stuff a bit later. When can we see the Interceptor point of view? So, for those paying attention, a certain person promised we would show the Interceptor perspective next stream. Yeah, but what happened is, last stream we had a couple of technical problems and we didn't get to show it. And then we promised we would show loot. But showing loot on the Interceptor that you'd never seen wasn't really going to make sense. So we wanted to show the Ranger so you could compare it to the Ranger we've showed before. Sure. So our hope is that next time we do a gameplay stream, note I said gameplay stream, that we will show the Interceptor's perspective. And so I realize I promised this thing. It accidental promise breaking, not non-intentional.
I would have shown it for him.
But thanks, Darren. But we will show it. We'll show it next stream. Next stream that we show gameplay. How many caveats do I need here? I need a lawyer present. But yes, we want to show off. Like, we love the Interceptor too. Like, we're really excited. I mean, it was the last javelin that we built as a team, and it's been shown the least, and it's amazing. So we want to show it off as well. All right, so that's all the time we have for questions. We're going to do a little bit of a wrap-up here. So, what are some of the things we covered? Let's not go through it, but just talk about it. So we talked about pilots and pilot levels, how that works. There's lots of loot in the game. It comes in multiple rarities. As you push through rarities, you get more inscriptions. The inscriptions are random from a big pool of over 100 or about 100 different things. You can combine all of these things together to make unique builds as you get towards the end game and you get some of the higher end rarities, like the build we've shown off today. Within the forge itself, you can equip the 3 gear pieces, the 2 weapons, and then up to 6 components. And all of that as you level unlocks. So at level 1, you have like a weapon and 2 gear pieces. And then at level 4, you get like the second weapon. And at level, I don't remember, 12 or 6, you get the 3rd gear piece, or however it works. And so all that unlocks on your journey to max pilot level. So that's kind of what we've covered today. We looked at the Colossus and the Ranger. So that was that. We're really excited to show this stuff off. You know, it's been a long time working on this, and it's great to show it off. Obviously, thanks to all of our amazing fans for tuning in again. You know, this community's been so great, so positive, and we really love interacting with all of you, so thanks for coming to watch us. Thank you to our amazing production team who set this up today. I don't know if you guys saw any of the photos we posted, but we really did a double upgrade to our streaming setup this time around.
It's
and it's been amazing. It's fancy. We have microphones and all this cool stuff. It's not that fancy, I guess, but we do have lots of fancy stuff. And the team actually was here super late last night, so thank you all so much. Obviously, thank you to the amazing dev team who built all this stuff. We get to represent them, which is great for us, but there are lots of people doing all this work in the background. So we're thankful to share that on behalf of them. We'll be announcing our next stream here pretty shortly to let you give you all a heads up of what we'll stream next. If you want to find out that information, you can follow us on Twitter at @AnthemGame. You can follow me at @BenErvo, because I like to go rogue and announce things sometimes also. But with all of that said and done, did you want to wish a farewell to anyone?
Yeah, farewell to anyone in particular. Anyone who came to nerd out with me about builds, which is probably my favorite thing in the world.
Like when Darren and I play games together, this is where he gets deep. Like he gets lost in builds, and it's like, man, can we just play the game? Well, I've got to do my thing.
Yeah, no, this is so. Your interests very closely aligned to our interests when it comes to having really cool things to allow you to customize your play.
Yep.
And be different than each other. Right? Everyone wants to be individual.
Right.
So
and to see who can find that unique build that kind of blows everyone's mind, and we think there'll be a lot of community back and forth around trying to work that out.
Yep. And that's one of my favorite parts of being a developer.
Awesome. Well, Darren, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome having your expertise to kind of talk through this with everyone. So thanks for joining us. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a really fun stream.